Welcome back, guys. This is What If Naruto Took His Ninja Life Seriously Part 2, and last time we left off at Naruto finding out Shisui killed himself 2 years ago, right like 2 months after they finished their training. He was really sad about this, but he knows that Shisui wouldn't like it for him to be depressed over his death. And so he keeps going on with his life. He is now 11. It's been a few months since he found out, and he kept training to relieve that anger inside of him that someone really Shisui would really do this to himself when he was such a good ninja. He was such a good human being. He was about the peace, not about all the fighting, but of course all the good things have to come to an end, right? So Naruto kept training, and he becomes stronger because he knows that he might already be a Genin, but he knows that as soon as he turns 12 he will be put in a team, and he wants to train hard, and he trains hard with his taijutsu skills, especially his taijutsu skills, because he really didn't want to lack in anywhere. So he had another year of training to do. So Naruto decides to do 3 months of genjutsu, and then he does 4 months of taijutsu and 4 months of ninjutsu. And the third Hokage is like, okay, I will help you out, and he gives him a few scrolls to learn from. And Naruto takes this seriously, and he learns a few techniques in taijutsu, and then he learns a new jutsu. Like, he already knows the shadow clone jutsu, and he knows fire. He knows all 5 nature releases by now. Yeah, and he even knows the earth release now. So Naruto goes to the Hokage on his last month and asks, can I learn some earth style techniques? And the third Hokage is like, are you being serious? Do you really have all 5 nature releases now? And Naruto's like, do you want me to show you? I have read a book about the how to make a mud wall. And the third Hokage really didn't have the time for this, and he already knows that when Naruto says something, he isn't lying. He's more serious now. So he just gives Naruto a few scrolls with the different types of earth style techniques. For example, earth style great mud wall, earth style earth dome. Those are most he gave him more protective types of ninjutsu instead of attacking ninjutsu, because he already has fire style, which is a really strong nature release, and also he has pretty much all of them. And Naruto does know like the water shockwave, and I know it sounds far-fetched, but he does learn them by himself. He trains with different types of water types of ninjutsus, and he comes across this thing where he can use water and then lightning straight afterwards, just because he knows water is a condenser for electricity. So Naruto tries that and realizes maybe he needs a wider covering, some ninjutsu that covers a wider area. For example, like a water tsunami or something, because a tsunami will wet the whole area that he is in, and he could just use a lightning stream onto the ground once it's wet, and it will go all around. So Naruto does that and comes across and asks around to some Chunin and some Jonin, and they said, oh, there's this ninjutsu called the water shockwave that really just summons a wave around yourself and then just covers the whole radius. And Naruto learns that on his own, and so That also he does know the water style water dragon jutsu. He knows the phoenix flower jutsu, like I said in my other what if. He knows how to use nature releases on his sword. To he uses water style to make sharper and sometimes attack from uh, long ranges. He can do that with any of the nature releases, wind, fire, except for lightning, because that's and lightning because um he he doesn't know how to do it, because it's just too hard to to make the lightning into little needles for him, but it is easier to make it with fire, wind, water, and earth. So Naruto can just slash and make small needles like Haku's needles to pierce people from long range, and they are pretty effective, especially if sometimes he puts poison on his sword. It can be a one-shot kill. Well, I digress. So Naruto also knows the Shuriken Jutsu, just as great as in Uchiha would. He's pretty much at, let's say, Itachi's level, not like 18-year-old Itachi, like 14-year-old Itachi, more like there. But of course, he will become better one day, and he knows how to add lightning style to his shurikens to stun and paralyze his enemies. So Naruto is pretty OP, and he did learn some genjutsu from Shisui, some good genjutsus, for example, warping his surroundings, which he can warp the ground to become spikes and then just pierce through his enemies. I have done that in one of my other what ifs, and I really like it. So Naruto now is pretty strong compared to all the other genin. So he doesn't really show it when he goes to the academy for the first time, when the teams are announced, and Iruka's really happy to see Naruto, and Naruto's happy to see Iruka. They smile at each other and they say, and Iruka's like, long time we'll see Naruto, because Iruka hasn't seen Naruto in like a few months since Naruto's been training so hard, and Iruka's like, yeah, it's been a few months. And everyone is really intrigued by Naruto because he looks cool and calm when he's about to be put with in a team with strangers who he's never met before. And Naruto already knows a few people there, for example Hinata, because he did save Hinata once, and Naruto really liked her, to be honest. And he did see he did notice a few people like Shikamaru and Choji, who he knew, and they're his friends, and they knew Naruto would be coming today. And also he noticed Sasuke, because Sasuke is just there. Sasuke is the most emo person. Like, if you go into a classroom, he just stands out like a sore thumb. It was just like Naruto because he used to wear orange, but in this Naruto will be using let's say a bit dark colors. For example, when he remember the movie Naruto the Last. If you haven't watched it, it's a really good movie. You can go and watch it in Kiss Anime if you want. And he's wearing those clothes because he likes black more, since he's been with Shisui, and Shisui did wear black and grey. So Naruto wears black and orange, and he's put on a team with Shikamaru. Sorry, my bad. He's put in Team 8 because I really like the idea of Naruto being in Team 8 instead of Team 7, and Team 8 Kiba will be switched with Naruto. So Naruto and Kiba switch places, and I'm going to change the Jonin of Team 8 again into Anko, because I think Anko is a much better character than Kuronai. Kuronai really didn't do much in the show. She did a bit against Itachi and Kisame, and she got bodied because she tried to put Itachi Uchiha into a genjutsu, and he put Kakashi into genjutsu while everyone else was trying to put him in the genjutsu, and they didn't even notice until Kakashi collapsed and they realized Kakashi was in the genjutsu. So I don't think Kuronai is that strong. I mean, she's good at genjutsu, I have to admit. She can turn into a tree, like, damn. But Naruto is starting to get better at genjutsu, and I believe Anko is a much better fit for this team, because Anko knows how to fight long range with her snakes, just like Shino with his bugs, and she knows good taijutsu to teach Hinata and Naruto, and a few good summonings. For example, how to summon snakes, small snakes, but not some complete summoning jutsu for the snake. And she can teach all three of them this, except for Shino, because Shino can already use his bugs. So Anko is the team leader for this team, and like in my other what if Naruto was a prodigy, in this what if, they still do the bell test, because Anko is still inspired by Kakashi. She does have a little crush on him. Yes, I will do a ship between them later on in the series. And Naruto decides to not fight Anko straight away, because he did train with Shisui, so Shisui did say tell him never to go into a fight blindsided, so never go without intel. So Naruto goes in a bush and then jumps out, and then let's say 15 shadow clones jump out of the bush, and they go attack Anko with different types of ninjutsu and skills. So Naruto's fighting them, and as soon as they poof, he will know what Anko is capable of. Anko is moving around, and she gets caught off by 15 shadow clones, Naruto shadow clones. She doesn't know if the real one's in there, but she tries. Since she wants to have some fun, she decides to go aggressive against them. Since Naruto stands no chance, even if he's stronger some Chunin, Anko is much stronger than him. Even the real Naruto. Well, that's if we're talking about individually. Naruto is going around the forest trying to find his teammates, and he finds Shino, and he tells Shino, come with me, and Shino does follow him to find Hinata. And Hinata blushes when Naruto arrives, and Naruto started to start a conversation and said, we need a plan, we cannot beat Anko Sensei without teamwork. And I'm pretty sure this whole bell test is about teamwork. So Naruto says he'll play the decoy, and with two shadow clones, and the real him will be hiding in the woods, while Shino will attack Anko from long range with his bugs, and Hinata and one of my clones. So basically 3 clones. Naruto's gonna make 3 new clones. They're going to be trying to distract Anko by using the gentle fist. Yes, Naruto knows a bit of the gentle fist since he did study it. He doesn't know it completely, but Hinata does, since Hinata did see Naruto train once, and she did train a bit harder. I'm not gonna make her train the whole time just like my other wife. I'm going to make her train a bit more than last time, and so Hinata knows a bit more taijutsu, and she is, let's say, 3/4 so 3/4 as strong as Neji right now. So her father is proud, and she is not abused like she was before, and her sister actually looks up, Hanabi actually looks up to Hinata instead of looks down at her for being weak. And so Naruto and his team, Hinata and Shino, put this plan into action, and it actually works out. Anko jumps backwards, and her guard is down because she thinks she is fighting. She was having way too much fun, and Naruto realizes that Anko is like the more aggressive type. So Naruto just goes in for the bells because he knows Anko is not on guard, and then he is caught off by a snake wrapping around his arm, and he is kind of startled by this, and he's kicked on he's kneed to the stomach by Anko, and she started saying she started laughing and saying, "Do you really think I dare notice you there, you little brat? I rate that you actually were camouflaging with just your speed, because Naruto was moving around. He couldn't just stand in one spot. So Naruto's like, wow, you actually noticed me, because he was using the body flicker in a silent way, just like Shisui did, and she still noticed, and he's really surprised. So he's like, maybe she's worth using this new technique I have learnt. So Naruto was about to use his new technique. This new technique is using some fire release and lightning release together, and using some kind of fire blade with lightning around it, so not only burns, it paralyzes. He was about to use the lightning fire blade until Uncle says, "You will pass," even though the timer is still going, and Naruto and the others are pretty confused until Anko says, "This was all a test to see your teamwork, and I can see that your teamwork is on point, and I will be reporting this to the Hokage." So Naruto says, "Well done, guys. How about we go out for ramen? It's my treat." Since Naruto does take his ninja life seriously, but it doesn't mean he goes like full Sasuke mode. He still likes being around people. He's still knuckleheaded in front of the around them when he's not in missions, but when it's about his ninja life or anything to do with him being a ninja, he is on full concentration mode, and he literally does what he's told. So and since now they have the next 2 days off, because Anko told them, "Oh, we will be starting our missions in 2 days," and they got 2 days off. They decide to go out and hang out together for the next 2 days. So they get to know each other. They get to know a bit more about Naruto and what happened with him, because they did know Naruto as a kid, and he just disappeared one day, and Hinata did see him around, but she never really had the courage to say hi. And so yeah, that's that. And Naruto said, "Oh, I have been training for most of my life, and here I am now. I wouldn't say I'm the strongest Genin. I'm not sure how the others compare to me, so I wouldn't really brag about my skills compared to you guys, your skills, because everyone Naruto knows that everyone is good at something, and he encourages Hinata, because sometimes Hinata's like, "Oh, I'm not as good as some people, blah blah blah," like Neji. He's a prodigy, and Naruto's like, even if it's a prodigy, you're pretty strong. Never downgrade yourself. You always everyone's good at one thing at least. Like me, I'm good at training, but at the same time, I'm good at making friends with people I have just met, like you guys." And Shino, and then he's like, "Look at Shino. Shino might not look like the type, but he's pretty dangerous. He's good at using bugs, and he could just poison us without us even noticing." And Shino's like, "That is true. I could have poisoned you guys, but I wouldn't. You are my friends." So that's the bell test for Team 8. Let's in this way, if I'm going to give Team 7 some more time to develop, unlike in my other what if, I know I have re-listened to the recording, and I've noticed that I have not developed Team 7 at all. So Team 7 did do the bell test, and Kiba basically did everything Naruto did, because Kiba is basically the Naruto 2.0. If Naruto was Kiba would be Naruto if Naruto wasn't there. So the same thing happens. Kiba gets tied up, and what's his name? Sasuke gives him food and is like, "Here, take this." And Kiba's like, oh, thank you, Sasuke, and then Sakura's like, hey, Kiba, because Kiba didn't really annoy Sakura, so Sakura wasn't just doing it because Sasuke did it, but she did it actually because she wanted to pass, and they passed. Yeah, pretty boring, right? I know. I didn't really like that ending to the bell test either. I really wanted them to. I really wanted to see them work as a team, but of course that never happened. So now we skip into 2 days later, and they are doing D-ranked missions. And Naruto is not really too concerned about this, but he is getting bored after a month of it. And he did ask, and Anko. He sees that Anko is pretty bored of it too, and he asked his team, "Hey guys, do you want to go next time we go to the Hokage's office? Do you want to ask him for a C rank or D rank, a higher ranked mission?" And they're like, I mean, we're fine with it. D rank missions are pretty boring, to be honest. And everyone agreed. So the next day, when Anko and teams 8 went to get their mission, all three of them asked the third Hokage, "Sir, can we, Lord Third, can we get a higher ranked mission?" And then he looks at Anko to see, glancing at Anko, and well, Anko knew what he was asking just by looking at him. He was asking, "Are they ready yet?" And Anko just nods, and Tarzino walks in, and then he allows Tarzino to walk in. He's like, "You can come in now, sir." And Tarzino walks in, and he doesn't really make any comments about them, except about Hinata, because he finds her like a freak. He says, "Oh, I'm really getting exported to my, I'm really getting protected by these kids, especially this one with white eyes. How do I know she is going to protect me?" Anko was about to just slap him, saying she's a Hyuga, she's more capable than any. She's probably the most capable here. And Hinata was looking down because she really couldn't say anything to him. And then Naruto just appears behind him with a kunai to his neck. He's like, "If I can do this, but Hinata can do worse just with her fist, just with her eyes, if you didn't know." And Tarzino really gulps, and he's like, he realizes that what Naruto is saying is that if Naruto could do this with just a kunai, and he's saying that Hinata could do all of this just with her hands, he realizes that Hinata is much more capable than what he thinks, and he apologizes and says sorry. And Hinata's happy to see, and Shino's like, "So I don't need these bugs anymore," because Shino already put his bugs out around the room. And the third Hokage just realizes now, he's like, "Whoa, this team is something different." And Uncle was laughing. After Tarzano walks out, Uncle starts laughing. He's like, "This is my team." And they're like, "Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. sharp, we will go out." So everyone goes back home, and they pack their things, and they get ready for the next day. So Naruto is about to go sleep early, but until he realizes he's still hungry because he still hasn't ate. So it is like 9 p.m. and he goes out to get some ramen, and he sees Shino is out, and he invites Shino. And then while they were walking, he sees Choji and Shikamaru, and he invites them to. And also in the end, they see Hinata, and they all go out to eat ramen. And Ino joins them, same with Sakura, because Sakura and Hinata were meant to meet up just for an hour, just to hang out, and they decide to have ramen all together. So then everyone goes back home, and the next day arrives. 6 a.m. sharp, Naruto wakes up at 4 a.m., brushes his teeth, has a shower, checks everything, and puts his weights on, and starts heading out. Yes, Naruto does use weights just for his training. So Naruto heads out at around 5:50ish. So he has 10 minutes to get there. And while he's walking, he thinks about his team, and he realizes how lucky he is to have such a resilient team and such a strong team. And he says maybe this team might be what I needed. This is like my new family. Since Naruto still felt sad that he didn't have any family members or anyone who loved him, but he believed that his sensei Anko and his teammates loved him just as much a mother and father would. So he considers a teammate as his own family now. So now he arrives and they all head out by 6 a.m. sharp. So it's been 2 hours they've been walking, and they realize all three of them notice the puddle, and they realize it hasn't been raining in a few days, in a few weeks, and not they're all on guard until the demon brothers appear. And this time Hinata and before they left, Naruto and Shino said, if we ever encounter anyone, Hinata, please stay back, because we know you're a taijutsu specialist, so you're better at close range fights than both of us. So if anyone attacks us, me and Naruto will be the ones attacking them, because we would need a rear anchor, so like someone who can protect the client if we fail. And Hinata understands, because she is a close range fighter, and to get to the client you need to get closer to her. So Naruto and Shino blitz past Anko, and Anko was like, wow, and here I thought I had to try a bit. And Naruto slices one of the demon brothers arm off, and Shino just wraps his bugs around one of the other demon brother, and tells the bugs to squeeze and bite. And the demon brothers are taken care of, and then Anko says, if you don't tell me who you're after, you're getting killed. And they tell them it's Tazna, and Anko is happy to hear this, and thinking, oh, I see. So she gets excited over this, because she realizes this old man had the audacity to lie to the third Hokage just to get a cheaper mission for when it's a higher rank mission. So she just decides to take it, and Naruto doesn't really care, because he really wanted to do this mission, even though it wasn't a C rank. He's more excited now because he could be a B or an A rank. Hinata's a bit worried, but then she realizes maybe it's for the best. We're helping out someone who really needs the help. And Shino doesn't really care. He's like, I'm okay with any mission as long as it's not boring, like finding cats. Because Shino has never been really good at finding cats in the past month, because he's a bug user. He can't. I know his bugs can relay him information, but cats move and bugs have to come back to him. They can't telepathically tell him where they are. So Shino didn't really like searching for cats. So he's like, I'll take any mission unless it's searching for cats. And everyone starts laughing, and they keep going. They leave the demon brothers there, and they do knock them out. So if anyone comes and sees the two demon brothers, they're just gonna take the bounty. And so they do tie them up as well, just saying. They won't let them go. So also Naruto wraps one of the demon brothers wound, because he doesn't want him to bleed out. Like Naruto doesn't like killing. He's more like Itachi, who wouldn't resort to killing straight away, but he's more like his normal self, just like in a younger version. So Hokage Naruto wouldn't resort to killing unless it is necessary. He at least tries to negotiate with words, but if that doesn't work, he has to use actions and has to fight. So Naruto is more like that, but just that he's a 12-year-old thinking of this. So Naruto is thinking like, Hokage, a himself, his Hokage self already. So they keep walking, and and Naruto, Hinata, Anko, and Shino, and even Tazuna feel the bloodlust in the area, and the fog thickens until Naruto decides to use wind style on one of his kunais and say wind style. No, he says wind release, and then he throws the kunai at the bush, and while the kunai span into the bush, there was a large spinning motion, so he actually attracted all the fog into the kunai, and like a little tornado, you know how a tornado absorbs everything and eats up everything. It was just like that, and in the end it was just a rabbit, but they realized that the rabbit is a winter rabbit in spring, and they realize it's a substitution. And Anko says to everyone to duck down, and they all do. And then Zabuza lands on top of the sword after, and then Zabuza realizes it's Anko, the the student of the legendary Sanin Orochimaru, and Anko realizes it's Zabuza, the demon of the mist, and they start a fight. Zabuza and Anko are equal in strength, not in skill. Anko is a bit more skilled than him because of all her techniques, but equal in strength. Unlike Kakashi was not equal in strength. He was way stronger, and he had more skills. So Kakashi was a hard counter to Zabuza, while Anko is more like a match to Zabuza, but he has to try a bit harder, try to surpass his limits just to be Anko because of the techniques, different types of techniques. So Anko starts off the fight, and Naruto says, we'll cover your back in case, as in if Zabuza is about to get her blind spot, or imagine she slips up or something, and Zabuza is about to kill her. Naruto would jump in, and she does slip up, and Naruto's about to jump in, but he realizes he's not about to kill her. He's about to put her in a water prison. So she's in a water prison, and Naruto throws a few smoke bombs, and it tells the plan to his two teammates. Yeah, so the plan is for Shino to spread his bugs out like it was just like the fog. So Shino had to use a lot of chakra for that. So Zabuza couldn't really see them properly, and then Naruto turned into a wind shuriken, and told Hinata to throw him into Zabuza, and Zabuza jumped at, and then it missed Zabuza completely, and he's like, "Kid, your aim is bad." And then Hinata's like, and then Shino's like, "You weren't her target though." And Zabuza realizes that one of them is missing, and then he realizes that was a transformation jutsu, and he poofs into Naruto, and Naruto throws a kunai with wind release on it, so it's faster. So Zabuza does avoid it, but he still does get scraped a bit from the wind that the kunai was accumulating. As it was accumulating speed. This is a technique that Naruto learned. He adds wind style to the kunai, and the more distance and speed he accumulates, the stronger and the sharper the wind razor is on the on the kunai. So Zabuza does get scraped a bit and is starting to bleed, so he is vulnerable now because of his foot, and Anko takes advantage of this and tries to kill Zabuza right there and then, but then as soon as she's about to do her jutsu, Haku jumps in and saves Zabuza, saying, or I'm an Ambu from the mist. I'm a hunter from the mist, and I have been trying to kill Zabuza for a long time, and you guys were making my job easier, so I just thank you so much. And he just leaves. Since Anko isn't too used to the Anbu, she really doesn't know if Haku's lying or not, but in her mind she already knew he was lying, but he just let her go because she was kind of drained, and she knew her team was drained too from that fight, especially Shino. So because she knows that he was lying, because remember, Orochimaru is a master of deception. So, and she was Orochimaru's student, so she knows when someone is lying, and Orochimaru did teach her how to lie to people easily, which isn't good, just saying. So she knows and tells her team that Zabuza is still alive, and Shino, Naruto, and Hinata really came to that conclusion too, because they did realize that Haku was in a hurry, even though he just killed his target and he just left. And they realized that Haku was a fake fake hunter. So they tell Tazuna, and Tazuna's like, wow, so you guys just let him go. And they're like, we can just fight him again since he is more injured, and we will take a 1 week break. So they stay at Inari's place for a full week, and they do train just like Team 7 did. And Naruto already knew the tree walking, so, and Hinata had pretty good chakra control, same with Shino. So they learned it in, let's say, in half a day, and the other half of the day they use it to learn how to walk on water. Naruto knows about this, but he's not the best at it, so he trains with them too. So Naruto tries to run on water just like he would normally with his weights, and he's able to do that. And all three of them, by the end of the week, by the end of 4 days, they're able to do it perfectly. So their chakra control is way way better now, and their techniques are much stronger and less chakra draining. So Anko now decides to teach a bit of snake summoning to all three of them, even though Shino doesn't need it, and she decides to teach Shino something different, to add poison to his beetles or his bugs. And Shino is really intrigued by this, because he did think of using poison, but he thought that it was too dangerous. But then then Uncle said, "You're a ninja now, so poison people. So there's no need to worry if you poison an enemy ninja, especially because they wouldn't hesitate to poison you." And Shino's like, yeah, you're right. So Shino spends the last 3 days working on poisonous bugs, while Naruto and Hinata do learn the snake summoning, not summoning jutsu, just how Uncle summons snakes out of the bushes. They do the same thing now. And so Hinata now is a lot stronger, and she can fight long ranges too now, same with Naruto. So Naruto doesn't always have to get close to and throw kunais and shurikens, but he still will, because he thinks of the snake technique as a more of a escaping technique, and he does use it as an escape technique. He will use it he tells himself, I will be needing this if I ever need to escape a fight or something like that. So a week later they go out again, and they see Zabuza, and here the fight is pretty much the same with Anko and Zabuza starting off. And in this what if Shino stays back, and Hinata and Naruto fight Haku. Haku imprisons Hinata, but isn't able to get Naruto, because Naruto was in the radius of the ice mirrors. And Naruto sees Hinata getting pierced by needles, and he is getting angry at this, and he lets out some of his anger with the Ninetales chakra in it. So Naruto doesn't go to his he's not as enraged as what happened when it happened to Sasuke, because Hinata was still there. She wasn't like fainted, or she wasn't half dead. So he just let out a bit of the chakra of the Ninetales, and yes, he does know that he has the Ninetales in him, because Shisui decided to tell him, and he understood that maybe it was for the best for him to have the Ninetales. And Naruto did train a lot in trying to control some of the chakra of the Ninetales, and he wasn't really that successful. He just got a bit. He couldn't even go to one tail yet. And Naruto, but he does get an exponential boost. So Naruto is able to break the mirrors and use his the Ninetales chakra against Haku, and until Haku hears the sound of Anko saying "say goodbye," while and then he looks back to see Anko about to stab Zabuza, a weak Zabuza with a poisonous with a sword that she was hiding in her cape that had poison all around it. And Haku blitzes past Naruto, and Naruto realizes that Haku just gave his life up for his precious one. Yes, Naruto did still met Haku while he was meditating and trying to gain some of the Ninetales chakra, and Haku just dies, and Naruto realizes Haku and says, "Why Haku?" And he does give his speech to Zabuza, because Zabuza said he served his purpose, and Zabuza dies the same way, killing Gato and everyone, and then dies next to Haku. And they do give them a burial, and this sets all of their ninja ways up. So he noticed that I will never let my comrades die, and I will always protect them. So she's like a bit more like Haku, because she will never she would give her life up for her comrade's life, while Naruto's like, I will never let my and they all three of them have a pretty similar goal. Naruto's like, I will never go back on my words, and I will never let my comrades get endangered because of me. And Shino's like, I will never let my teammates. It's pretty much the same thing over and over again, but his one's a bit different. He says, I will never let my teammates fight without me. So his one is more like he wouldn't let them like fight for him. He would actually fight with them, even though he's not right next to them. He would fight with his bugs, because he's a bug specialist. So they have to stay for another week to see the bridge builder build a bridge without getting attacked, and he doesn't. And then they head off by saying goodbye to Inari and his mother and Kazuna, and they head off to the Leaf Village. Sorry. So once they arrive to the Leaf Village, Uncle is ready to tell them that of the Chunin exams, because she finds out on the same day, and the next day she gathers them and tells them, you guys don't have a choice, you guys will enter the Chunin exams or I will torture you. And they really didn't have a choice, because they didn't want to get tortured by Anko, because they know Anko likes torturing. So they enter the Chunin exams, and they have 2 weeks, just like in my other What If. So they do train together as a team and individually, but this time they will train more in their individually, because Naruto is not as much of a prodigy as the Naruto in What If Naruto was a prodigy, but he is more serious about this. So he tells them to improve. He tells them that they all should improve their individual skills. So and in the last few days we should do some written training, like what's it called, studying. Yes, I just said what's it called for studying. Yeah, studying and their teamwork. So they do that. They work for a week and 2 days individually, and then the last 5 days, for 2 days they do paperwork, while for the last 3 days they train in the teamwork, which works out pretty well, to be honest. So they trained a lot more individually, but that's for the best because they learn different things during the Land of Waves arc. So that's pretty much it, because I have covered the Land of Waves arc, the bell test, and Naruto's childhood and past. The next what if, I will be covering Team 7's mission, because they did get a similar one as per normal, but they just didn't have to verse someone like Zabuza. And here it wasn't Naruto who's the main character in for Team 7. It was actually Sasuke doing all the work, while Kiba just got jealous and tries to keep up, but he doesn't. And well, I just told you what they did, but it's fine. I will be making the next part as soon as this what if hits 1 like and 2 likes for part 3 and 4. So thank you for listening. I will be making the next part as soon as possible. Stay safe, take care, and peace.